Hey YouTube, haven't really posted a video of out here of everything. This is my what normally is my quarantine tank. And we'll call this the repositioning tank for the moment. We've got a few Africans, couple. That's one of the Demisani from. Good Lord, this one's probably at least a year, year and a half. One of the last ones that I kept after we shut the Mbuna setup down. Kept the zebra, kept the crab roe, and this guy is actually being rehabbed at the moment. He was a bit of a rescue. Buddy of mine, Brian, hit me up about a special needs fish. He has a little bit of a bone issue going on in his face, and he was left in some pretty horrible conditions and lost eyesight in one of his eyes. Just recently put him in with these group of fish to kind of get him a little socialized again, and so far so good. I didn't think it was going to work out this well, but he, believe it or not, has been running this tank. I had a pretty large Mbuna setup, and with all the traveling that I do on the road, it was just too much to keep up with because they just spawned relentlessly. So I will probably be keeping these guys. I'm not sure what I'm going to put them in, especially him, because he looks like he is, if he's not completely blind in the one eye, he is going that way pretty quickly. But he's actually looking a good bit better than he did at one point in time. But anyways, that's my quarantine tank, or like I said, repositioning for the moment. Over here we have Babs, who is our very large female jag. Sorry for the glare, all the rest of the lights are on. She does not play well with others at all. You can see she's got her fins chewed up a little bit. She usually starts most things and usually ends most things. We've seen her consume 6 to 7 inch fish to the point where the tail's still sticking out of the mouth. She's not afraid to try to eat anything. So we actually had her in the 300 with our Festi pair for a while, but she was the one that drove my female absolutely just crazy, no matter what we did or what other fish we had in there. So we've got her here in a 90 solo for the moment. Not real sure what I'm going to do with her. I actually might be parting ways with her just because she just commands an enormous amount of space. It's kind of tough because she's such a great wet pet, but I don't know. In this 90, you know, she's got a couple tubes and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's I'm kind of on the fence because I love the fish, but at the same time, I also don't want to see her, you know, cooped up here in this tank. Tank it's kind of big enough. I wish I had a little bit of a bigger space, but let's see back there in the corner. She's just kind of not fitting in with everything that we got going on lately. Over here are the last of our Festi fry. We got about 20 left, all ranging between 3/4 inch and I guess some of the largest. There's a couple guys that are in the 1.5 to 2 inch neighborhood. Handful of these are going to be going out to some of our local club members. But this is pretty much it. We're waiting for the next batch. They're gearing up inside. These 3 tanks, 40 on the bottom, has one what appears to be female Benai. I had all 3 in the 120, and that lasted about 2 weeks. She still got ick pretty bad, but once I moved her in here about 5 days ago, she seemed to stabilize and she started eating again. These 3 tanks stay the coldest. This is the tank with the aggressive, what appears to be male. They're all hiding pretty good right now. And you can see one up here. Now this guy was, this is the original tank that they were all in, just to get a point of reference. All 3 2-inch fish were in this top 5 foot 120, and it just was not going to work. So we left the one that was getting picked on the most, which I'm thinking is male. We we left him in here. He started eating again. He had it coming in from Gage from the farm with the cold snap and all that good stuff. But he's actually looked like he's clearing up pretty well. He's in there. This is the assassin. That guy back there is the one that created all the havoc. And until I can figure out what I'm going to do, it's kind of insane to have a 120-gallon tank with a 2-inch fish in it. But for the moment, 1, 2, and 3 are all still alive. So I consider that a major success. By far one of the trickiest fish that I've ever tried to keep. And you know, to say that they are aggressive is a bit of an understatement. Everyone comes out here and they go, "Oh, cool, where's your fish?" And I go, "Right there." And most people are like, "You realize that's a tiny little fish in a really, really big tank." But I'm not sure what I'm going to end up doing. I'm kind of on the fence. I think I can probably keep them all alive if I can keep the temperature down and keep them from bloating. She'll obviously need to move at some point. That 40 is not going to be big enough, which most likely she's going to go in here. But I figure at some point, once they're all healthy and she's ick-free, I may try a reintroduction. I may use a bigger tank. I may use these tanks. I really haven't figured it out yet. I may wait until they're actually of size and just divide this 120 and you know, pick a male, female, and you know, if they spawn through the divider, so be it. If not, other than that, I'm probably just going to you know, keep a single specimen. I'd really like to try to breed these guys, but I think keeping them alive is priority 1. So I'm going to go with it and see what happens. And then over here we have the 210, which is basically our grow out for our ornatum group, which are thriving in this tank. All the tanks out here in the garage are on a drip system. This tank sees about 80 gallons of fresh water a day. This one is currently off the drip only because I'm still treating with copper safe. But normally this one sees about the same, so it's seeing, well, actually I take that back. This one's seeing about 70 gallons a day, so about half of the volume with it in the sump. There's the sump over there. It sees about 50% daily, and that's where the ornatum actually started out in. And they don't grow quickly, but they seem to grow really quickly in that tank. I moved them over here into this tank with a group of other centrals. I've got a pretty large Piersai in here since go in, which I probably had for maybe a month or so, growing really quickly. We got a large North-Side in the back, and then one of our oldest cichlids, Jack Dempsey. This guy has been through everything. He's probably, I'd say, 7 or 8 years old. He's got the old hook fin from a couple fights, but he's probably one of our toughest fish, and he's way out of his league with most of the fish that he's been in the tanks with. But these are the guys that I'm super focused on right now. These guys, they seem to love it in here, and the cold fresh water seems to be doing them a lot of good. Both the bean eye and the ornatum. You know, I kept these guys from bloating early by keeping the temperature down and just feeding super light. And everyone seems to be benefiting from this. This guy is, if I had to guess, I'd say he's about 9-10 months old. He's pushing maybe 13-14 inches, and looks like he's starting to widen up a good bit. Super cool fish. This guy gets along with everyone. He doesn't start anything, but he ends everything. If there's a fight in this tank, he's going to be the first to break it up. The North-Side and the Jack Dempsey had been kind of going at it. See, there's a few dings on the North-Side side. This guy never misses a meal. Sorry about the glare there. You can see he's got a pretty good whelp on the one side where he got lit up. But for the most part, these guys have been getting along, other than you know, the recent fights between those two. And we moved around a few fish, and everything seems to have stopped. So it's a close-up of one of the ornatum now. Hoping to get a pair. You know, obviously anyone who's keeping these guys knows, you know, not the easiest fish to breed. We know of a few folks that have actually done it successfully, and they still don't have any fry for sale. So I'm hoping to, you know, get a pair, keep a trio, or maybe 4. You know, just depending on what space I have when some things grow out. This guy looks like he's going to be a real pretty fish too. Still real young, but he's starting to color up nicely. And then this guy's just a tank. He was the biggest of the group. I went over to the farm over in Odessa, met up with Gage, and we handpicked him out. Of all of the ones that were in the group, this was by far the biggest. And you know, for his size, he's actually quite a peaceful fish. Really, really cool. Great peacekeeper. Hopefully he'll serve the same purpose that our Argente does in the 300 and kind of be in the resident bouncer, so to speak. Kind of breaking up all the fights. He and the Norisati are, for the most part, inseparable. They seem to be buds. Usually you get the big old cichlid pile, but Jack Dempsey has been lighting up the Norisati lately. Even though he's torn him up and he's ripped his fins up, I mean, he's no worse for wear, and this one's always the first to the front of the chow line, only to be followed by him. But this tank will hopefully house the ornatum pair. I haven't completely decided because I'm still playing the temperature game down here in Florida. I don't want to have to run a chiller, but I don't know how much cold water I can hit this thing with on the drip to keep the temperatures down. You know, cold water in Orlando down here, you know, we're lucky to hit 76, 77 degrees on a good day. So I'm thinking that both the Benai and the ornatum are going to probably have to move inside. This tank actually may end up becoming the future home for our Festi pair if temperatures do what we're thinking that they're going to do. You know, in the summer it gets pretty warm, so Festi don't mind the heat too much, but the ornatum and the Benai will not do well in the heat at all. So with the drip on the inside tanks, I can keep the temperature, you know, a little bit closer to 72, 73, depending on the ambient temperature in the house. But, you know, here I go, picking the hardest fish in the world to keep in Orlando, Florida. You know, everyone's like, do the Haitiensis, and I said, no, I want to do the Benai, you know, so I'm going to be fighting an uphill battle, but I don't know, there's just something about these fish that I'm just so drawn to. They're going to grow ridiculously slow in the high 60s to low 70s, and, you know, with super, super light feedings, but I'm always kind of game for a challenge, and these guys will probably be the biggest challenge that I have. But that's pretty much it. 210 over here, just running a standard sump down here. It's just basically a 45-gallon tote. Nothing fancy, nothing special. There's 2 drains. I'm sorry, yeah, 2 drains, one return line going back up. It's teed to return on both sides. Return there, and there's 4 drip emitters on this one, so this sees right around 30 to 40% daily. And then this one, the 120, has a 32-gallon can, basically as a sump. Standard SFU style overflow box going down into it. And that's pretty much it. All the rest of them are run off